One quick truth. It's 3 o'clock in the morning and your body is tired, but your mind is wide awake. You replay a conversation from yesterday. You rewrite what you should have said. You imagine what they really meant. One thought becomes 5, 5 become 50, and suddenly your head feels like a room with every light switched on. You already know this loop. The endless chain of what-ifs and should-haves that steals your sleep, your focus, your peace. Here's the first truth you need to hear: a quiet mind isn't an empty mind. A quiet mind is not a mind that never thinks. It's a mind that knows which thoughts deserve attention and which ones are only noise. It's a mind that responds instead of reacts, accepts instead of resists, and returns to the present before imagination turns a small worry into a full disaster. Most people are fighting their own mind like it's an enemy. They try to win by force. They try to silence thoughts by pushing harder, distracting more, numbing out, scrolling longer, staying busy, staying stimulated, staying anything except still. But peace doesn't come from overpowering your mind. It comes from changing your relationship with it. Stoicism understood this centuries ago. Positive psychology confirms it with research today. Not as a promise of perfection, but as a roadmap to something better, sustainable inner peace. In this video, you'll get 7 shifts. 7 practical moves that take your mind from loud to clear, from anxious to grounded, from scattered to steady. By the end, you won't just understand the idea of inner peace. You'll have a practice you can return to tonight, tomorrow, and whenever the noise comes back. If you're ready to reclaim your peace, type "I'm ready" in the comments. Not because comments are magic, but because commitment changes behavior. Now let's be honest about the cost of mental noise. Overthinking isn't just annoying. It drains your life. It steals your ability to enjoy a conversation without drifting to tomorrow's deadline. It makes you scroll for an hour instead of sleeping because silence feels too loud. It turns even good days heavy because your mind is carrying problems that don't exist yet. You wake up tired, not physically tired, mentally exhausted before your feet hit the floor. Your brain ran scenarios all night. It solved imaginary problems. It prepared for disasters that never arrived. Your mind treats every uncertainty like an emergency, every outcome like something you must control right now. And the cruelest part is the voice you've internalized, the one that says you're behind, you should be further along, everyone else has it figured out except you. That voice doesn't clock out. It follows you into coffee, into work, into rest, into bed. So the first shift is not motivation. It's understanding. Shift 1: separate what you can control from what you can't. This is the foundation of Stoicism and one of the simplest peace practices ever discovered. Most of what you worry about is outside your control. Your boss's reaction, other people's feelings, timing, outcomes, the past, the economy, the weather, your reputation in someone's mind. Yet your brain spends hours trying to manage these uncontrollable things. It's like standing in a rainstorm trying to push clouds away with your hands. Exhausting. Futile. Missing the point. Stoicism teaches the dichotomy of control. Positive psychology supports the value of focusing on controllable actions. When you stop fighting what you can't control, your mind gets quieter. Not because life changed, but because you stopped demanding that life obey you. Here's the practice. Draw 2 circles in your mind. In the inner circle, put only what you control: your actions, your effort, your values, your response, your boundaries, what you do today. In the outer circle, put everything else. Then make one move. Every time you catch yourself spiraling, ask one question. Is this inside my circle or outside it? If it's outside, your job is not to suppress the worry. Your job is to redirect your energy back inside the circle. You can care about an outcome without trying to control it. You can hope without micromanaging every variable. This isn't passivity. It's strategy. Because every minute you spend wrestling the uncontrollable is a minute stolen from what you can influence. Shift 2. Stop obsessing over outcomes. Build peace through actions. Overthinking is often outcome addiction. You fixate on a target, the promotion, the perfect relationship, the achievement that proves you're enough. Then when life doesn't deliver on your timeline, you interpret it as failure. Your peace becomes dependent on results you can't fully command and validation that may never come. The alternative is action focus. Ask, what is the next smallest step I can take? Not the perfect step. Not the guaranteed step. The next one. Action turns anxiety into movement. Movement turns noise into clarity. In the next part, we'll go deeper into the body and the brain. You'll learn how to slow down a nervous system stuck in fifth gear, how to question anxious thoughts without forcing fake positivity, and how to build a mind that becomes your ally instead of your battlefield. Shift 3. Calm the body to calm the mind. Your mind feels like it's racing, but the engine is often your nervous system. Even when you sit still, you aren't really still. Your brain is jumping ahead to the next task, the next fear, the next thing that needs your attention. You eat while checking messages. You talk while mentally drafting your to-do list. You're physically present but mentally scattered across multiple timelines. That isn't living. That's surviving at high speed, and your body is keeping score. Tight shoulders, shallow breathing, restless sleep, a constant low-grade anxiety. These aren't character flaws. They're signals. Your nervous system is stuck in fight or flight, and mental noise is the sound of a system that hasn't been allowed to settle. Stoicism calls this disturbance. Modern psychology calls it stress arousal. Either way, the move is the same: slow down on purpose. Start with a single breath practice you can use anywhere. Inhale slowly through your nose for 4. Hold for 4. Exhale through your mouth for 6. Do it 3 times. You don't need to believe in it. You need to practice it. This activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the biological counterweight to panic. Then build tiny islands of pause into your day. 1 meal without your phone. A 10-minute walk with no goal except walking. 5 minutes of doing nothing without guilt. These moments look unproductive, but they give your mind the space it needs to process, integrate, and release pressure. A quiet mind is cultivated, not forced. Shift 4. Treat thoughts like events, not commands. Somewhere along the way, you started believing that every thought is true, urgent, and worthy of your full attention. But most anxious thoughts are predictions, interpretations, and stories. Often inaccurate. Often exaggerated. Often designed by a brain that evolved to detect threat, not truth. Stoicism taught this with one simple idea: your judgment creates your disturbance. The event happens once. Your interpretation can make you live it 100 times. This is where cognitive behavioral tools become powerful. Not because they erase anxiety, but because they weaken its authority. Here is the practice. When an anxious thought appears, don't fight it and don't obey it. Examine it. Ask 3 questions. 1. What is the evidence for this thought? 2. What is the evidence against it? 3. What is a more balanced, realistic thought? Example. I'm going to fail and everyone will see I'm incompetent. Evidence 4. You're behind schedule, you made a mistake. Evidence against, you've completed hard things before. You've recovered before, one project doesn't define you, and fear has predicted disasters that never came. A balanced thought might be, this is challenging, but I can handle the next step. Even if it isn't perfect, I'll respond intelligently. Notice what changed. You didn't lie to yourself. You simply refused to let anxiety write the entire script. Another tool is distancing. Instead of, I'm a failure, say, I'm having the thought that I'm a failure. That small shift creates space. You are not the thought. You are the observer of the thought. A quiet mind is not a mind with no thoughts. It's a mind that doesn't worship every thought. Shift 5. Replace rumination with one committed action. Overthinking thrives in ambiguity. It grows when you have nothing concrete to do. Your mind spins because it's trying to create certainty out of fear. Action gives it an anchor. So when you catch yourself spiraling, choose one small action inside your circle of control. Write the first sentence of the email. Clean one corner of your room. Do 5 push-ups. Open the document. Send one honest message. Set a 5-minute timer and begin. The size of the action matters less than the signal it sends. I move, I don't just worry. Stoicism is built on this. The present is where your power exists. Action returns you to the present faster than argument. Now we need to address something deeper, because many people can do these practices and still feel noise. The reason is not lack of skill. It's the inner voice. Shift 6. Change how you speak to yourself when you struggle. You have been trained to believe that harsh self-criticism is motivating. That if you're not constantly pushing, judging, and punishing yourself, you'll become lazy or mediocre. So you developed an internal voice like a drill sergeant, relentless, never satisfied, never kind. If harshness worked, you would be thriving by now. Instead, you feel exhausted, anxious, and permanently behind. Because shame doesn't create peace. Shame creates more noise. Positive psychology research on self-compassion shows something most people resist. Self-compassion isn't weakness. It's resilience. It helps people recover faster from setbacks and remain motivated without the constant burn of self-hate. So here is a simple shift. When you catch yourself spiraling into, I'm stupid, I always mess up, replace it with a truthful, human sentence. This is hard. I'm struggling. And struggling is part of being human. You aren't excusing yourself. You're refusing to attack yourself. Then ask, what would I say to a friend in this situation? And say that to yourself with sincerity. A quiet mind requires a safe inner environment. If your mind feels like a hostile room, your thoughts will never settle. Now bring it all together. You have learned to separate control from chaos. You have learned to slow your nervous system. You have learned to examine thoughts, distance from them, and replace rumination with action. You have learned to meet yourself with compassion instead of cruelty. In the final part, you'll get the last shift that makes these practices stick, the daily system that prevents noise from rebuilding, the Stoic way to handle relapse days without panic, and a final commitment line your audience can comment to create community and momentum. Shift 7. Build a daily system that makes peace automatic. Most people treat inner peace like a mood. They search for it when they're already overwhelmed. They wait until the mind is screaming, then they try to fix it. That's like trying to learn how to swim after you're already drowning. A quiet mind is built the way strength is built, before the crisis, through repetition. So here is the daily system. It's simple. Not easy, but simple. 3 checkpoints: morning, midday, night. Morning. Claim your mind before the world claims it. Before you open your phone, do 1 minute of ownership. Ask, what is inside my control today? What is outside it? What is one action that would make me proud tonight? Then take one slow breath. This sets a direction. Stoicism calls it returning to reason. Psychology calls it priming. Either way, it changes the first hour of your day. Midday, interrupt the spiral early. Most overthinking grows because it goes unnoticed for too long. So set a small trigger. Every time you wash your hands, every time you sit in your car, every time you finish a task, ask, what am I thinking right now? Is this useful or noise? Then choose one of 3 responses. If it's inside your circle, take a step. If it's outside your circle, release it. If it's emotional noise, calm the body first. This is not spiritual. It is mechanical. And that's why it works. Night, close the loop so your mind doesn't carry unfinished weight into sleep. A loud mind at 3 a.m. is often a mind that never got closure at 9 p.m. So do a 2-minute night reset. Write down 3 lines. 1. What is one thing I handled well today? 2. What is one thing I learned? 3. What is one thing I will do tomorrow that is inside my control? Then stop. Don't write a novel. Don't analyze your entire childhood. Just close the mental tabs. This single practice reduces rumination because it tells the brain, we have a plan. You don't need to keep scanning for threats. Now, there's one reality we need to address: your mind will not be quiet every day. Some days the old patterns return. That doesn't mean you failed. That means you're human. Here is the Stoic rule for relapse days: do not panic about panic. People make anxiety worse by treating it as a disaster. They think, I'm back here again, I'm broken, I'll never change. That story creates more stress, which creates more noise, which creates more shame, and the cycle locks in. Stoicism teaches you to treat setbacks as training. Positive psychology teaches the same: resilience is not never falling, resilience is returning faster. So when the noise returns, don't start a war. Start the practice. Name it, my mind is loud today. Normalize it, this happens sometimes. Choose one tool: breath, circle of control, thought distancing, one action. One tool, not 10. One step, not a full life overhaul. A quiet mind isn't fragile. It's flexible. It bends and returns. Now let's talk about the deeper cause of mental noise: the need to control. Overthinking is often an attempt to control uncertainty. Your mind replays conversations because it wants certainty. It predicts disaster because it wants to feel prepared. It analyzes people because it wants to avoid pain. But control is not always wisdom. Sometimes it is fear wearing a mask. Stoicism offers a harsh freedom: you cannot control outcomes, but you can control your conduct. Your peace comes from living in alignment with your values, not from guaranteeing that life will go your way. So choose a philosophy and practice it daily. Your philosophy can be one sentence: I will focus on what I can control and release the rest. Repeat it until it becomes automatic. And now, a final contrast to seal this message. A loud mind believes every thought is urgent. A quiet mind asks, is this useful? A loud mind tries to control the uncontrollable. A quiet mind invests in what it can influence. A loud mind fights itself. A quiet mind guides itself. A loud mind demands certainty before action. A quiet mind takes the next step anyway. A loud mind is ruled by the world. A quiet mind is ruled by choice. That is the art. Not perfection. Practice. So tonight, when you lie down, don't demand silence. Create conditions for silence. Close the loops. Slow your body. Release what you cannot control. Choose one small action for tomorrow. Treat your thoughts as events, not verdicts. And speak to yourself like someone you are responsible for protecting. Because inner peace is not a gift handed to lucky people. It is a skill built by disciplined people. And if you think you are not disciplined enough, remember this: discipline is not a personality. It is a practice. You begin with 1 minute. 1 breath. 1 question. 1 small step. And the mind learns. If this video helped you, comment, "I choose calm." Then write 1 tool you're committing to for the next 7 days. Not because the comment changes the algorithm, but because declaring a choice strengthens the identity you are building. You are not trying to become a different person overnight. You are training a different mind, 1 day at a time.